Hi, my name is Mary Lou Herman, and I'm talking about God's love again. It seems to be a little bit backwards in 1 Corinthians 13. It says, if you speak with the tongues of men and angels, but have not love, then you are nothing. If you give all your goods to the poor and have not love, then you are nothing. So, there's a verse in John 15, and it says, you are the vine and I am the branch, and without you I am nothing. And in John chapter 3, it says, I know nothing except it comes from heaven. And in Ephesians chapter 2, verse 14, it says that the middle wall of petition came down because Jesus died on the cross for the enmity thereof. So whatever enmity you have in your life, it could be resentment, it could be vengeance, it could be unforgiveness, it could be frustration, it could be anger, any kind of hostility. These are the things that are called the enmity. If you have those things in your life, then yes, you're not being a loving person. So that means you have not love. So I think as human people, we have to go day by day, moment by moment. And if we pursue love, and if we look for it and seek it and try very hard to give it to other people, then we'll be able to get to it. But sometimes you just have to be silent in order not to say things that hurt somebody. Like I was at the grocery store today, and because of the COVID and the distance and the standing 6 feet back, and because of the lines that are in the grocery store, there aren't very many cashiers, and I don't use the self-checking out. I don't do that. So anyhow, there was 2 people in front of me that were close up to where the cashier is. And then there was a lady coming from the left and I was coming from the right. So I considered myself to be first, and she wasn't in front of me. So when the man in front of me moved up and put his groceries on the line to get checked out, I moved up quietly, calmly. There wasn't anything frustrating about it for me. And then this lady, she said, excuse me. She was behind me. And I turned around and I didn't say anything. I just looked at her. She said, wasn't I in front of you? And I just sort of, I didn't say a word. And I didn't look at her in a mean way, but I just kind of went like that. And I turned around and kept on standing where I was standing because I didn't consider that she was in front of me. But it was better that I didn't say any words. So I think that a lot of people read the Bible. They want to do it right. We all want to do it right. We all want to give God's love in every single situation. But sometimes it just isn't happening. And that doesn't mean that people are mean or rude or ignorant or on purpose not giving love. So I do believe, though, that we can come home, think it over, and say our prayers and talk to Jesus about it and ask him, if we did it wrong or if we did it right or how was it. And I think every day that we can go to God and we can ask for a new revelation, a new teaching from Him to us on the lessons of being loving and giving God's love. I think if you are really seeking for the right way to go, you will find the right way to go. But you also need to know that in your humanness, you are not to be ridiculed by anyone or by yourself. You're not to be judged by anyone, because life is hard. There's a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress in the world today. There's terrible things happening in other countries. There's terrible things happening in our country. And we're grateful that we're not having so much of that COVID disease now. But the whole world has changed. And even before the COVID year, right before the quarantine, there was a scientific explanation in the newspaper, and it said that the earth had gone off its axis for a couple inches. And then that was like right before the next day, the whole world shut down in 2020. That was the whole world shut down, every country. And that's never happened in the whole history of the earth. So, a lot of people lost their jobs, and there's been a lot of stress. So seeking for God's love and trying to do it the right way is all you can do. That's all you can do. And He gives us His grace for the times when we don't make it. And He gives us His grace for the sufferings that we've been going through. And I think we just need to remember that He bestows His love on us. God's love is bestowed on us. He calls us His beloved. He has adopted us into His family. We are loved by God, and we just don't have to perform. We don't have to be all perfect and doing it perfectly right all the time. So that's all I have to say. And also, when there are difficulties in a relationship and there are walls up, go to Jesus and talk to Him about your side of it, and cry out for answers on how to have the wall come down. But He does say that Jesus took the hostility, the enmity. They're both the same. That's both the same thing. He took that on Himself on the cross. So talking to Him about it is the way to go. And when the wall comes down, then you can experience God's love. Thank you. Talk to you again.